Everyone, welcome to another tier list. Today we are talking about the best PvP classes in Diablo Immortal in June 2025. I know that a few people are gonna get mad, so as a disclaimer, if your favorite class and the one that you play the most, it is not at the top, do not worry that all the classes in these games are powerful enough to actually reach Legend and even try to compete at the higher rating on the right hands, with the right skill, with the right player, or sometimes even with the right resonance. So with this out of the way, the rules is gonna be that it's gonna be mainly focused on the classes that are in their performance in Legend rank in the high tier above 3500 rating, and we are gonna have a more broad vision when it comes to it, from low resonance to also the biggest whales, because like biggest whales, well, they can pretty much almost perform with any single class, but on the low resonance maybe we are a bit more limited. So let's start here with the monk. They had a downfall after we had the helicopter build getting nerfed, and heavily nerfed. I mean, if it was right to do, I feel like the helicopter build it was nerfed in the right way. However, I still think that they went a bit too hard, almost killing the build, or pretty much killing the build. I don't see anyone really playing nowadays with the helicopter build. It was such a fun build to play. He had damage, he had mobility, he had healing, and yeah, it was absolutely OP. But I think like they should stop doing these very heavy nerfs to a point that they make the build completely useless. I don't think like that's the right way to actually go and adjust the build. All they needed was a bit of tuning, and that was gonna be fine. But the thing is that monks, after that, they did not stop fighting for their class. And then later on in Inferno 5, there was like this new instance that came that allows you to pretty much slash the enemy and you become immune to being attacked. It is very, I will say it is actually OP in my opinion. The damage is not like the highest, but the fact that you're doing damage to a target and you're not receiving damage, and on top of that you can actually chain exploding palm on the target and keep slashing them from like 100 to 0 without ever being attacked, it was quite powerful. Recently there was a bit of a nerf. They increased the cooldown, but they also increased the damage, which made like a few whales. Now they are doing more damage, but for the low resonance actually made the build slightly more squishy. However, from my experience playing that build, I still think that it does very well when it comes to duels. It struggles a bit regarding versus Crusaders, or whenever you're trying to fight with like multiple targets and you just like start slashing like multiple targets, so the damage gets like very dispersed, but made still monk very viable. I think also there is like a new tank monk on the rise, so I think like the class, it is not as OP as it used to be, but it is still like very strong and viable to play at almost every resonance. Obviously, the higher the resonance you go, the better it is gonna be. So monk, I will probably put it right now as A tier. Now we have here the Blood Knight. The Blood Knight, in the past we had the piano build with the infinite dash. Very fun build to play. I played it quite a lot on my stream. Then now they have the rise of the summons once again, and pretty much like the summons are the most viable build. I know like a few people try to make like the abomination build work. Personally, I never really tried, and I never see like anyone having like big results with it. The ones that I see the most people popping off, it is definitely with the summons. I still feel like the summons, it is not like the greatest build when it comes to PvP in almost any class, just because it is very easy to dodge. You just like see the shadows and then you just move out. So in that sense, I don't think like it's the highest impact build, but it makes it very friendly, especially for lower resonance. Also powerful enough if you have high potency at the highest ranks, but I still feel like it gets a bit overshadowed regarding the meta because of other classes. So I will probably put at this stage Blood Knight as a B tier. It is viable, you can still have fun with it, but the impact could be high. Now let's talk about the Wizard. Wow, the Wizard, I said on my PvE tier list that this class, it is being, getting better and better and better. So I'm quite jealous about like the designer that they have, the game designer that they have for Wizard. I hope that they transfer them from Wizard to Barbarian once again, because like this class, it is like there is this new build which is the Battle Mage, that you have all these lightning novas going around you, you have infinite cooldowns, you have like multiple knockback teleports, you can knock back chain like and you can like 100 to 0 if you're skilled enough. But to be fair, it is a very demanding class to play regarding skill. Like not every player will actually just get into the Battle Mage and start popping off and do a lot of damage and do like CC and be crazy enough to actually play in a very aggressive style. You have a big learning curve when it comes to the mage. This being said, I think that the Battle Mage, as it is right now, it is an absolutely S-tier build. This class, not only you have the Battle Mage, you also have the Wizard CC. Like, it feels like, you know, everyone is talking about like the Battle Mage because, yeah, I will say it is a superior build, but you still have more supports, you know, crowd control, like we still with your big arcane winds. You can go, you can freeze everyone, you can like pretty much lock the idol by yourself, and you're still gonna have a huge impact if you have a low resonance character. So I'll say that, in my opinion, right now in this stage, most likely Wizard, it is my favorite PvP class in the game. Now we have here the Barbarian. Oh boy, the Barbarian. We used to be the kings. Oh, then those nerfs, all those Spartax nerfs, all those Ota nerfs, even the chains got nerfed, and the Undying Rage. I still feel, looking back, I'm okay with the Ota being nerfed. I'm even okay with the chains. The only thing that I feel like Barbarian lost a lot its identity was that Undying Rage nerf. That immediately after the nerf, we went from S tier to probably A tier. And I will most likely say that right now, even if there is this new demoralize Autobot, you know, that you can control it and you can use the leaps and you can use the whirlwinds, and but it's just like, I personally feel like the build itself, you know, even if it is strong, it is not as strong as the Ota was. I played the Wizard and I played also Demon Hunter and I played Tempest. It is so easy to kite a barb around nowadays because you know exactly whenever they have that demoralize Autobot activated, it's like literally like a bot, right? Like you know exactly what is it gonna do. Like so it's so easy to outplay that I feel like Barbarian just went down. It's still strong, but I don't think it is as strong. I think we lost a lot of value inside the battlegrounds. Obviously, the Barbarian is probably still is a high resonance. Probably you're gonna still do fine. But the reality is that the major issue of Barbarian, it is this bad boy here, the Crusader. The Crusader, it is being popping off, and that's like, I think like is the major issue for Barbarian. You know, like you try to get into the idol, a Crusader comes and it's just gonna like stuns, or even if it doesn't stun, it's just gonna have like so much damage output. Also, it has the bubble. It's gonna just put you from like 100 to 0 in a heartbeat, and then what are you gonna do? You're gonna proc the Undying Rage. You have to go back, lick your wounds, trying to put the bandage, try to come up again. So you cannot push the idol and you cannot hold the idol with the Barbarian any longer. And I feel like now the class itself is a bit lost in terms of the identity just because of that. Still viable to play, of course, and probably like slightly harder than it was in the past. But, you know, I think we have other builds and other classes that are doing better, including Crusader. Crusader was a class that, I mean, for many months, it was not doing that hot. Like, we know that. There was multiple nerfs. There was, like, during the Spartusk era, they were pretty useless because they tried to put the bubble. Spartusk Barb came, dispelled the bubble, boom, they were just dying. Then, you know, we started having these nerfs on Barbarian, and this is what happens with the downfall of certain classes. We start having other classes to rise, you know. In the past, I probably put here Crusader as a B tier, then as an A tier, and I feel like it's back. Like Crusader, it is absolutely back at S tier. One of the things that made even Crusader more powerful was the addition of these new really broken affixes, the Judgement affixes. if you have a harmful effect on the target, there is a chance that you're gonna stun this target. So you have the blind with the shield glare stun, and you also have another stun which is from the Judgement affixes. Super powerful, and that's my only grip with versus Crusaders, you know, because I play Crusader, I played for a few weeks, and it's a class that's like, it does a all-in, you know, you pop off everything for like 6-7 seconds. It's like, or you kill or you get killed, and then you go into like these 6-7 seconds of like cooldowns that you cannot do anything. So you're always like in the all-in or in the cooldowns, which makes like the class not for everyone. Because it's not like very fluid. You don't have like a very rapid game style, like for example the wizard, that you always have cooldowns and you always teleporting. So it's not for everyone, but still it is such a strong class right now. Now let's go here into the Demon Hunter. I feel like the Demon Hunter right now, it is maybe like with the nerf from Tempest, it got, like, you guys remember, like the water bananas got nerfed like slightly when it comes to the yards. So it got a bit of an advantage. It is a class that definitely requires a lot of skill to play, for you to even try to perform at a decent level, but it is still suffers from the same problems. It still suffers like there is no survivability with it, and I think like that's like the biggest issue. I still like don't see like a lot of big whales carrying, because imagine you get stunned by a Crusader, you are dead. You get you know, knock up from a wizard, you are dead. You get caught by, I don't know, by pretty much everything, you are dead. I tried also like the new summons build. It is an improvement than the oldest one, because now you have like those sentries with the ropes that are very annoying, and it adds a lot of CC and a lot of value. Definitely very good for low resonance, but they need a better high mobility build to be able to, you know, outperform in a very safe manner and be able to carry the games. So I hope that you know, Demon Hunter tries to keep facing, you know, everyone and going up on the meta, but I still think that it is a class that still stays under the others. Maybe, to be honest, maybe putting a C tier is quite not fair. Maybe we can actually put it here like the same as the Blood Knight, because I feel like these three, they are playable. I feel like it's not as bad as it used to be. I feel like definitely Demon Hunter got a slight buff, and I feel like it is just playable now. You have multiple builds, you have the Strafe, so let's be fair, let's put it as a B tier. I feel like C tier may be a bit too down for it. Now we have the last two classes. We have here the Tempest. I mean, like the Tempest, it got nerfed. Not only the water bananas, like the rolling surf, got nerfed for a few yards, but I will personally say I don't think it made absolutely any difference. You still play the same, it still feels the same way. Also, the chains from Barb got nerfed, so that helps a lot. And it's just like, it's just a fun class to play. You also have the coral now that you are able to one-shot everyone, and it's very hard to play because it felt like super inconsistent. I tried to play it like multiple times. I just like, or maybe I'm too dumb or I didn't figure it out a lot. But because like sometimes I'm one-shotting everyone, other times it feels like I'm not even hitting it. So the hitbox of the coral, it is slightly inconsistent. So you do like flowing strike, you stun, then you do coral back, and sometimes it was hitting, sometimes it was not. But still, very, very strong builds to play. Either you go with the breaker build or you go with the coral, you're still gonna perform really, really well. Nowadays, like with the wizards, you have to be also a bit careful, but you have the flowing strike to remove out of your CC. So there's no other place to not put here Tempest as a S tier. It does everything well. It does, and it fills up like its role so well. You gotta love it. Then you have here another one, the Necromancer. Well, there are two main builds when it comes to Necromancer, maybe three if you consider like the support Necromancer. You have the Golem. The Golem, I feel like it is absolutely banger of a tank, like the best tank in the game by a mile. Not only your tank, you add fear, and you also have the skeletons that they're gonna do a lot of damage. So be careful if you're near the Golem, because the Golem can actually give some decent burst that can surprise you, and it can actually kill you if you're not careful. The only downside of the Golem is like if you get dispelled, you know, they can remove the golem out of you, and when you're in human form, you don't have almost anything to do. There are some people that also have a variant that they are using the fear, the rate form pants to add a bit more utility when that happens. But still, I will say that it is very strong, that build. Then you have the Vortex with a high potency. Still, you're gonna output all these dots. You're gonna do so much damage. You're gonna fear everyone. Still very viable. The rate form with the fear is so powerful. And then you have the Corpse Lance that's gonna immobilize everyone. That a few low resonance players, they play still, and they still can do very well if they are doing the immobilize together with the Black Rose, with the Flatter Grasp and all these things. So I have no other saying that than this. Just put here Necromancer at S tier. I feel like these are definitely the meta classes here at the top. I think like Monk is slightly above, and then I feel like in mid tier we have the Blood Knight, the Barb, and the Demon Hunter. Maybe you can disagree a bit here that maybe one can be, you know, lower than the others, but I feel like they are almost at equal footing. And you can also say that, you know, Barbarian maybe adds a bit more to the table because he's a tank and can sit on the idol and try to push it. Yeah, maybe we can put it here, maybe slightly higher than these other two, but I think like at this current stage, this is like what I feel like Barbarian is from playing with it and facing versus it. So I hope that, you know, I didn't hurt your feelings if your main is a bit below, but this is my personal opinion. Type in the comments whatever you guys, if you agree, if you disagree, let me know. This was also, I also want to say thank you to the chat that you guys helped me out during the live streams, also on the community posts. You guys always help me, but at the end I just listen to everyone, I absorb your guys' opinion, and I form my own. So this is my own opinion in June 2025. This is personally the tier list that I'll put, and with this, thank you for watching. Catch you guys next one. Peace.